Gervonta Tank Davis, you already know what it is. He really couldn't tell you who was better between Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, these three are some of the best in the business, right now. Some will argue that one of them is the very best, and when you listen to some of these guys who run their mouths and have opinions on things, and like I said, it's interesting to hear some of the people, what y'all think. But obviously, these guys are moving the culture forward, some of them, and like I said, Shakur Stevenson really set the boxing landscape, on fire. His performance was so electric, but it was so polarizing from, everybody with their thoughts and opinions on how they felt on how Shakur Stevenson performed. You have people being dismissive, you have people praising him, and Gervonta Tank Davis was very, very quiet when it came to giving any of them any praise, in terms of Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. Ladies and gentlemen, Gervonta Tank Davis, you already know what it is. He has a big-time fight coming up, against Ryan Garcia, King Ryan Garcia. That's a very electric fight that everybody is pretty much getting ready for, to be honest with you. The whole is really moving the culture forward in the boxing landscape. I think everybody can agree on that. That fight alone is really sending a lot of shockwaves throughout the boxing landscape, where now you finally, not only you hearing about these bigger fights taking place, but you hearing contracts, you hearing promoters. Now it's starting to feel like a tide is turning. And Gervonta Tank Davis, he knows that he is the A side no matter what would happen. So, if Gervonta run his mouth on anybody, he's gonna elevate them. As electric as Shakur is, Shakur was on, what was it? Power 105, The Breakfast Club. The list goes on. He's not a bigger superstar than Gervonta Davis. That's not now, at least. I don't know how it will be, in totality. But right now, Gervonta Tank Davis is the biggest star in boxing, unfortunately, for people who, don't want to believe it, but it is what it is. Gervonta Tank Davis is 28-0, no losses, no draws, 26 violent wins by the way of knockout. The southpaw coming from Baltimore, Maryland, the mean streets of Baltimore, Maryland. He wears it on his back. You already know that. So, Devin Haney, he been in, I don't know what's going on. We might need to do a wellness check on Devin the Dream Haney. Bill Haney, these guys don't really have much to say anymore, but I seriously think a wellness check should be made on Mr. Devin Haney, because, where is he? What happened to him? He pretty much just went ghost on everybody, in my humble opinion. But I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. The fights go on, things got to continue, and it is what it is. Gervonta Tank Davis has to fight one of these guys. Obviously, Tank is in a huge fight against a tough opponent on paper. I think this is going to be pretty tough. I think that everybody's viewing this as his best or biggest fight, best opponent or whatever, so what's up with Haney? People are already dismissing the Lomachenko fight. Nobody wants to see Devin Haney versus Lomachenko, unfortunately. And everybody's voicing their displeasure, with Haney. Everybody feels like Lomachenko's too old. He's this and that. And, and Devin Haney, he got all the belts, coming in 29-0, no losses, no draws, 15 wins by the way of knockout. Coming out of Las Vegas, 71-inch arm reach. He's 5'8", and this is the dream. I don't know. Gervonta Tank Davis, that would be a crazy fight. You have some people feeling like these guys are more technical than Gervonta Davis. And I'm going to keep 100. A lot of people just look at Tank as this knockout artist, this knockout extraordinaire, but they don't really, he still don't get enough credit, for his ability, to really, just really do his thing, in terms of being technical himself. He's a very skilled fighter, and I don't know why people don't give him that credit. He doesn't go out there just head hunting. He set things up. He's very tactical. Y'all know this. I don't even got to get all into this. Y'all know what Tank bring to the table, in that square circle. So me personally, I honestly believe that Shakur Stevenson is a tough opponent. I know that people want to make it seem like, we've heard Tank say Shakur has no power. Both of them have no power. But if Shakur can hit you 100, 150 times, you don't got to have that much power. You get hit 150 times, it's going to hurt you, So it just is what it is at the end of the day. It's not going to be pleasant if you get hit that many times, and that's what's at stake, between a possible matchup between those two fighters, So as much as people want to act like it's some walk in the park, against Shakur, I think people are drastically mistaken and wrong about it. It could be making a completely terrible mistake. In my humble opinion, it could be completely terrible. But it is what it is at the end of the day. Shakur Stevenson, he's going to be looking for a tough opponent. Listen, the man was undefeated, Ushano. Obviously, people is going to dismiss him. I knew that was going to happen before the fight even happened, and he just dog walked him, so it's really got people just feeling like, man, like, who did you fight? Like, oh my God. Oh man, it's just like, that's how people are feeling, But at the end of the day, this was his 135 debut. And at the end of the day, that's universal around the sport of boxing. The only people who could really say something crazy right now is Gervonta and Ryan, who are putting it all on the line. Two big stars putting their respective bases on the line. It could be all she wrote for whoever loses, So, I think both of them deserve major credit. And I think Shakur is dealing with what a lot of the fighters are dealing with. Everybody's saying, who you fought? Everybody hasn't fought nobody. That's what everybody's slogan. He ain't fought nobody. He ain't fought nobody. This, and that. So, they got to change that, and that's something that I think is starting to happen. I think that the 135 division set it off. I think you have a lot of fighters, guys like Floyd Schofield calling out, Keyshawn Davis calling out, Mark Castro calling out, everybody, and like I said, these are all undefeated fighters calling out other undefeated fighters to put it all on the line at a young age. They're not trying to hold off and wait. We're trying to get it going now. And I think this is setting a new precedence, in the sport of boxing. After this Ryan Garcia Tank fight, is only up from here. So like I said, I think Shakur is the tougher fight. Let me know who's your thoughts. Who's the better fighter between the three. In y'all personal opinion. I like Shakur Stevenson out of these three, but I like Tank too. It's a tough decision. But I think that Tank could knock out, Tank could knock out anybody with that power. So this is just clear as day, man. But let's get in the comment section. It's Flight Sports. Hit the subscribe button. Let's politic. It's Flight Sports TV. Peace and love.